I have a few more things to show. Do you want to do a little show and tell?
Let's do it, buddy.
Well, Marc, one of the renowned show and tellers, Geek Gill, Smash Brothers Gaming, he sent me a box of birthday stuff because he heard on the pod that it had been my birthday. I said, hey, Frankie, I heard you say on the pod that your birthday by the way, I think I say this every single time. Marc's got amazing handwriting. I just want to say.
Oh, yeah, he does.
I heard you say on the pod that your birthday just passed, so I thought I'd send some things your way. I had actually planned on saving this one tape to send to you for Christmas later this year, but it's still winter, so I suppose it makes sense. Actually, as of today
today is spring.
Today's the first day of spring. But when I received this, it was like a month ago. When I had showed you the tape, you'll see, it seemed like you really liked it. So when I got in a lot with this tape, a slipcover at that, I set it aside for you. Anyway, I couldn't send just one lonely tape for your birthday, so I threw in another VHS to keep it company. And the wife and I went browsing around some of the local shops and a few things you might like. Hope you had a great birthday. Wishing you the best for 2025. So he went shopping for me. He didn't just dig into his flea market of a home.
I'll make sure when September comes around, I'll loudly proclaim it's my birthday.
It'd be like, and since it's September and I'm turning the ripe old age of 40. Yeah, we're both turning 40 next time around the sun. So this is one of the things he picked up. We'll get to the VHS last. The Simpsons 3D checkers.
Oh, cool.
Right? And it's, it's of the era. The off-color Bart, check out Bart has like a light blue shirt.
Oh. So
but not
it's checkers, toy. Not chess? It's
checkers? This is checkers, 3D checkers, which is good because I actually prefer checkers.
Yeah, I'm too dumb for chess.
You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. I'll teach you.
I don't know. What is a rook? I thought it was like a bird.
The dude, just every time I get a new box of fun from Marc, he just knows me a little better and a little better and a little better. So this is really cool. This is Power Rangers. Classic Ranger Edition, White Ranger Adventures. And what episodes are in here? They don't tell you. They're like a bunch of Power Rangers things will happen on this tape. But it's 60 minutes. And it was released in 2000, so well after Power Rangers.
Oh, so that's why it says it's like a classic edition.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've never, I'm very familiar with all the VHS lines of Power Rangers for Mighty Morphin. I wasn't familiar with this one. I think the box art with the half face, this was very popular at the time. That's not the VHS that he was referring to. I'll show a couple quick other things. So he saw this comic book. Kilroy was here. And in the
our boy Kevin Smith
to honor Kevin Smith, this one it strikes it out and says Kilroy is here.
Oh,
and it's some sort of maybe everybody out there already knows what this comic is. I certainly don't. It's a black and white looking horror comic of some kind. But
Nothing
the
to do with
novelty
Kevin
of the
Smith,
title,
though.
I think, was the appeal here. And then he got me a couple of Mighty Avengers.
Oh, okay.
And they're classic. There's some great ads on the back. This one.
Oh, I love the ads and comic books.
And this one's like a snowboarding. What is it? Frosted Flakes. It's a Frosted Flakes ad.
Yeah, of course, snowboard.
But Tony the Tiger is like an extreme sports person.
Of course he is.
I'm into extreme sports.
You're into Atari computers. So are we. Your Atari is a great computer system. And one of the things that's great about it is it can play 3 of the greatest action arcade games ever, Frogger, Popeye, and Q*bert from Parker Brothers. I didn't know Parker Brothers made those games. The award-winning Frogger is one of the top-selling arcade action games of all time, with graphics that are nothing less than riveting.
Frogger's what is that, Konami, isn't it? It must have been published here or something.
Well, I guess maybe the arcade ports were Parker Brothers?
Yeah, maybe.
Or not arcade ports, the ports to the Atari, rather. Anyway, blah, 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 but very, very cool. And, little Popeye-ness at the... Yeah, okay, so more Mighty Avengers. And then he got me a Ninja Turtles. This is Sewer Sports All-Stars Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I kind of remember this line. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it rings a bell.
What about this? Does that do anything for your member berries?
No.
Maybe? Well, yeah, maybe this one where he's in a football costume.
Maybe, yeah.
A football costume.
He's playing the football.
And then finally, from Marc, this is what he's referring to Wacko's Wish. That's the winter tape. I love Animaniacs. I love Animaniacs tapes in particular. I got he inspired me to get a Halloween one and a Christmas one. But this is the movie. This is Wacko's Wish is the only Animaniacs movie as far as I know. And it's here on tape. It's Christmassy. It's not super available. I think it is available on DVD, but not easily. So this is I think this is a really great tape. I'm very pleased.
I remember there was a Animaniacs cartoon that played in front of some movies.
I'm Mad, theatrical short.
Yes, that's
Yep.
it. So it was like kind of because you know how they used to like play random like Roger Rabbit movies in front of Amblin films and stuff like that. Yeah, it was kind of that kind of thing, and it was kind of like, oh, this is exclusive to a theater. I have to go to a theater to see this.
That probably had something to do with Spielberg, right? Because he produced Roger Rabbit, and Roger Rabbit was doing the theatrical cartoons.
And I remember they used to do that when you went to like the drive-in. They would just play like a random like Looney Tunes cartoon or something.
It was a staple of the drive-in.
Yeah.
Just while I'm opening gifts, do you remember Joe from Hats Off said he would send over the Blu-ray with his commentary track?
Right.
Got it.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. It's right here. And what does it say? Special features: audio commentary by film historian Joe Ramone.
I feel like I want to like just go over your house and like listen
Kick
to
back
that.
and watch this. Nina and I have repeatedly been meaning to have like an Uncle Buck night, but you know what we do instead? We have a lot of YouTube nights because we're ready for bed.
Yeah, you want, your brain is already turning off, and you gotta have something very unchallenging.
He said, Frankie, thank you again for having me on the podcast. It was an absolute delight to talk with you guys. Best Joe. I really enjoyed having Joe on too. We should do it again.
Joe was
sometime.
great.
We have all these we've been doing a lot of guests lately, and they've all been lovely.
So I have a thing to show.
Yeah.
So, our friend, mutual friend, Ant, Super Ant, he sent me that beautiful record player, which will be in an unboxing video on the other channel.
Yes.
But it's because of that, I have access to the records people have been sending me.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should buy myself a record, and so I did. This is the Super Metroid OST recreated. It's by Jammin' Sam Miller. And what this is he found the original samples that the Super Metroid music was comprised of before they compress it and put it on the cart. And so he painstakingly recreated it with those higher resolution samples, however you say it for audio, and recreate it. So I mean, the cover art's awesome. Like it's got Ridley, there's Samus there. It's got like the spaceship in the background. It's very like it looks kind of very Bryn Star-ish. So I mean the cover's good. Inside it's just like paper sleeves with the records, but it's two records or two vinyl records, whatever you call them nowadays. And I played it on the turntable, and it sounds awesome. It's great because it sounds like the songs, but they've got more oomph to them because they're not like compressed and playing through a Super Nintendo. So it's really cool. I thought.
Did you get them from Amazon or Flea Market, or where'd you get them?
I just got it on Amazon. Like I had it pre-ordered before, but it took so long that I canceled it. And I was like, I don't even have a record player, so I canceled the pre-order. And then Aunt sends me a record player, like, fuck, I'll just buy it. But I had to pay like $10 more because it wasn't as in stock.
Isn't it funny how like sometimes your life kind of like all these little coincidences intersect in the same direction? It's like I'm supposed to get into vinyl, I guess.
Okay. And it's it's like, can you get anything more retro than like a vinyl OST of a Super Nintendo game? I don't know.
I just find that sometimes some of these novel formats, if nothing else, they kind of force like they call attention to themselves, and they kind of make you like. If I suddenly had a turntable myself, I'd be like, oh, I'll schedule a night sometime where I listen to music. I'll sit and listen to music, right? Like music listening normally happens on walks to work or in your headphones or in the car or something at best. You don't really like sit. I mean, I'm sure some people do. Or like while you're multitasking, maybe while you're working, but you don't, it's not, I think the average person probably does not sit and listen to music,
No.
Maybe
no, absolutely. And then on like a related note, like Marc sent us VHSs that we asked for. We picked a list, and I picked Goodfellas.
Oh yeah.
And I actually, I sat down, and the first time watching it, I put it into a VCR, and I watched it. And I gotta tell you, Frankie, It was awesome. It was like it totally brought me back to just like catching something random on like TNT or whatever, or TBS.
Was it full screen?
It was full screen and everything.
As he
I mean, it was a
said.
little jarring because usually on like TNT or whatever, it would be censored. So I saw there was all the swears, but it was full screen. It totally brought me back to that place where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, this is on, I'll catch it. And
it's
have a
good.
and it's good because
Yeah.
usually they were because they're playing the old movies. But this, I mean, so my review of it is like, it's awesome. It's the template of all the movies that came after it too.
I also think like in the world of Goodfellas, right? Like of that, because the movie takes place in the 90s, if I recall, right? Like around.
Yeah, well, it's like a It's like a
Yeah.
lot of I called it the crime hang. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it starts in a generation, it moves over decades, and it tells like a rise and fall story type of thing. And obviously it made Animaniacs make more sense to me with the good feathers.
That's it. But my point was going to be the format of movie that those characters would be watching in those smoke-filled homes with that, would have been VHS. It would have been a little washed out. Like, and it's not to say like, the beautiful cinematography shouldn't be appreciated in 4K on Blu-ray. Like it should. It's a great way to watch it too. But there
Yeah,
is
I was on
this other thing
I was on Discord and somebody was like, honest question, why would you watch it like that? Like there's 4K versions. And I was like, you don't understand.
you wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get it. JD Pants.
Did you say thank you for this VHS once? What did we watch recently? Oh, we rewatched Guardians 3, mostly because we talked about it with Confused Matthew. We watched it down here on the Plasma on Blu-ray, and it gave me a new appreciation for how much better sound and video is on Blu-ray as opposed to Disney Plus. It was like, wow, because I don't pop in like Blu-rays down here in the screening room like too often, but it was. Yeah, it's the way to watch movies if you can.
Yes, streaming. Yeah, streaming. You don't realize how much they downgrade everything. Even if you pay for the 4K, everything, it's still compressed to hell.
The big one was the action sequences reformatted the aspect ratio to IMAX, and that does not happen. I don't think that happens, or maybe there's like now I'm remembering there was some controversy around it. But my recollection is that Disney Plus doesn't have that, at least by default. They don't have that presentation of the movie.
I have one more thing to show and tell.
Yeah, cool. I do too.
I was thinking of something to get my sons, and they love Tears of the Kingdom. And, we have our issues with those games, but they love it. They mostly just like use it as like a playground, like light torches, and they find their own stories because even they can't be fucked with what the game actually wants them to do. But and what they love to do is they go into the depths. It's really dark, and they throw these things called bright bloom seeds, which become these like flowers, and there's lamps in there, and they really love like throwing them and lighting up dark areas, and it's really fun. So I went on Etsy and I was like, oh, I wonder if they have like bright bloom, something like that. And somebody was selling. This is it's like this is a bright bloom lamp, and this is 3D printed, but it's hand painted, so it's got like details like moss. And it's got like the zone, like so it looks like it's aged, like it's been somewhere for a long time. It's actually really well done.
Wow.
And this actually comes off and it lights up. And this is also 3D printed. They just added it lights up like that. So I thought they'd really like that because it's like something
That's really cool.
they love doing in the game, and it's really unique because somebody 3D printed it and then painted it.
Yeah.
And I got two of them for both the boys, and I do want to shout out the Etsy seller. It is Triforce Knights with a K. The Knights with a K. Triforce Knights. And they have a lot of good stuff. They have like Zone Ice statues and like 3D printed Zeldas, like made to look like an amiibo that kind of matches the Link's Awakening Link, so that if you have the Link's Awakening amiibo, you could have a Zelda one. That's kind of interesting. So a lot of little Zelda creations, and I think they'll like this because I think it'll be surprising because it's you go to a toy store and it's like they have the cheapest shit in the fucking planet, and you buy like they only have like one Zelda toy and it sucks, it breaks immediately. So it's like just to have something that like somebody cared to actually manufacture and is pretty sturdy. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Etsy, I bought a couple things off of Etsy myself. You ever see that that GBA Classic NES edition? The SP, and it was the NES edition. I always coveted that. I never had one myself. I had an SP. I loved the SP, and now I have my as Tech Dweeb calls it. He's like another Russ from Retro Game Corps. Side note: did you know that Russ from Retro Game Corps had a stroke several years ago?
Oh yeah. I one of his videos, was it the one where he actually like goes into his favorite games?
Yes, which I thought was a cool video. But
yeah, it was a good change of pace. Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Which I actually did have a stroke, and so Tetris really helped me with my stroke.
And it made me the chillest guy on the face of the planet.
Like, if a chill guy like you can have a stroke, Jesus. Well, anyway, so I love that thing, and every once in a while, Facebook will try to sell me, some used one, and it's like $700 or something, and. But yeah, I always kind of like look at it from afar. There's a 3DS SNES edition too. That's also kind of looks cool. But I saw that somebody on Etsy will do you one better, and they'll just for $5 send you stickers that you can put on your fucking Ambernick device, and then you're good to go.
You're mostly there.
You're pretty much there. So first, it starts with this little strip, right? You wouldn't know the difference. That's just a sticker. But it covers the whole face of it, so that's how it looks so smooth. And then who can argue with this? You can argue with that?
No, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
I mean, it's a little hard to apply, but it's
I'm not going to fight you.
You're not going to fight me over this, are you?
I'm not going to fight you.
And then not to be outdone, there's a little back, and it makes it look like Tetris is in there.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's just a sticker.
Okay, it's fake. You bypassed the book of alphabet.
You bypassed the Tetris on the GBA SP.
So that's cool. And then now I'm on like an Etsy kick for my and I'll say too, people know I have an Odin 2, and I use the Odin 2 a lot, especially for like N64, GameCube, PS2. For a pocket, as Russ would say, pocketable. I do actually carry this thing, like when I'm for running errands or whatever. Like I'll have this normally in my pocket. And I do. In particular, I would say probably GBA games. I'll play on
the clamshell design is just perfect for that stuff. Like even though like the other ones that are small, like when the screen's facing out, I get nervous. Even with a screen protector, I got keys in my pocket.
Right.
I got shit. I don't want it scratched. Yeah, I think the clamshell is very, very like it's perfect. I thought the SP was like the perfect system when I was that age.
Well, here, let me ask you a question. Horizontal or vertical?
For handhelds?
Yeah.
I mean, like nowadays, I'd probably prefer horizontal.
Yeah. We go separate.
Yeah.
We go to separate paths here. I'm a vertical man. I think I don't know exactly why. There's something I don't know. There's something about this granted, I'm literally holding one in my hands. And this makes more sense for more screen real estate. That's the other thing. Is more screen real estate.
I personally prefer the Wii U gamepad.
Nice and big and fat.
Nice and big. I've been streaming Wind Waker HD. That's why I have this.
Oh, sweet. Well, so I love the Odin 2. I continue to play the Odin 2. I've been playing a lot of WWF No Mercy on this thing. I just love that it can emulate N64 without issue. Actually, I tried to pair my my NSO N64 controller to it, and it did pair, and it does work, but it's very laggy and fucked up.
Yeah.
And I spoke to ChatGPT about it, and it was like, well, Nintendo doesn't really want you doing that. But
that's usually the answer to most things with Nintendo.
Nintendo doesn't really want you doing that. But you can pluck these control sticks, the heads of them right off, and you can swap them with better ones. And these are fine, but they're a little bit small, a little bit nubby. And I would prefer pretty much the Nintendo Switch ones. That's what really, like, because those are like kind of flat. They're kind of low to the surface, but they're a little bit wider, and they have some like texture to them. I really like those, and you see them on like every handheld.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll try to buy some of those, and I kept seeing, like, Russ was talking about a mod, and all the everybody was like, when this was more popular, everybody was talking about like some Etsy seller that had really good ones. And that person doesn't sell them anymore. So I started looking around for others, and I saw something similar, and you could just buy like many different sizes of control sticks. So I bought these for like, I don't know, $10 or something. And they came from Australia. I have no idea how the shipping could possibly be worth it. And I'm like, oh, this will be good. I'll go with the biggest one. And it's 3D print. Of course they're 3D printed. I should have known that.
Of course.
But
everything is.
That means that there's nothing soft about this. This is just like shitty plastic. And I popped it on. It didn't feel right. And so I'm just going to, throw these out. I don't know. I don't want these anymore. Fuck them.
Fuck them. Into a landfill.
So the last couple of times we've talked about handhelds on the show, we've had the joke about buying so many.
Oh, Frankie. Oh, no.
This is obviously a problem that men my age and income level have. We get to a certain age, we get to a certain level of financial maturity, we can buy silly little things that would be ill-advised, under different circumstances. And everybody in the comments, the last time I think when I was talking about the SP, they were like, Frankie's really sleeping on the Anbernic Arc D. And I knew exactly what they were talking about, and I feel it because it's the Genesis one. I guess they say Sega Saturn, but it's modeled after our favorite little dude here.
Oh yeah.
The whatever.
The M30.
Thank you.
Whatever that is.
The M30. In fact, I believe 8-Bit Doe had something to do with designing this, and so I got the Arc D. I did. Actually,
I saw in person the other day during our Balksmack shoot, and it is nice.
There's a lot to be said for like, hey, if you can download and install 10,000 games, 50,000 games, 100,000 games with ease, is that actually bad for like exploring games and and whatever. I am not of the opinion that this is a problem to have lots of games or lots of movies on your Plex server or whatever. I generally I don't have lots and lots of things to play and watch every last one of them. It's a lot of times it's for posterity. It's a collection. It's to especially when it takes up no physical space. It's in case I see some YouTube video or somebody says play this game, I can just pick it up and play the game. But I do have to say the purpose-built systems, the ones that's like, hey, this is a 6-button controller for your Sega games, it's kind of appealing because you can play a Sega game just fine on a 4-button SNES style controller, but they're designed for this. And this rolling D-pad, this is where it's at, my man. I like the SP with the clicky. You know how I feel about the clickiness. You have to do a stupid mod to settle it down a little bit, and it's still not perfect. This thing is this is, I think, the most comfortable handheld I have. It's the one that I enjoy holding in my hands the most. The most responsive to various gestures.
Yeah,
and,
as a horizontal man, I felt that it was very comfortable. It felt like just right.
Yeah.
Just right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I decided to do, just for kicks, was only put Master System, Sega CD, Genesis, 32X. Did I miss one? Game Gear. I only put those on here. And so when I reach for this, I'm playing a Sega game. So kind of like it just focuses the selection a little bit.
I do that with like almost all of my things. I focus my collection. Like the EverDrive I have on there only has like 20 games on it because I get paralyzed by choice. So I like curate a list for myself. I put some on there. That way I could be like, oh, I want to play DuckTales today. I want to do this today. And it's nice, and I don't have to scroll to get them or put them in favorites or anything. It's just there's 20 games on here. Yeah. Maybe next month I'll put 20 different games or 25 games. I like doing that just for my own like sanity.
Kind of it encourages you to explore the like the Master System backlog, and it just kind of makes you dive in a little deeper. Screen's beautiful, and it's big. So 2 major complaints that I have with the system. I don't know if I'd call them major. One is the battery does die, like after 2 hours or something. It's not a long lasting battery, and so you are having to care about. And one of the best things about the Flip Dizzle, about this thing, is you can tap the power button, it goes into sleep mode, and the battery will never die if it's in sleep mode.
Oh, okay, nice.
Whereas this thing, you can put it in sleep mode, it'll die anyway. So you're having to look after that unfortunate problem. I'm actually less concerned with the battery life and more concerned with like I'd like to be able to put it on standby and not worry that the next time I pick it up, it's going to be dead. And the second problem is the firmware that it ships with, and I don't know if you can load other firmware. You probably can, but it seems like Ambernick is less and less friendly to that sort of thing lately.
Yeah, so as they go along, or maybe there's probably even less interest because I think people have found a handheld that they want.
Yeah.
So as new ones come out, they're less likely to be like, do I want to jailbreak this thing? No.
Right. So it comes with a preloaded firmware. That firmware overrides RetroArch settings, and so that means like if you want to turn on rewind, if you want to turn on, if you want to change the hotkeys for, like for instance, it has a function key, but that's at the very top. It's like F up here. I prefer like select. I'm used to select as the the hotkey button.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So if you want to change any of that stuff, there's some of those are available in the firmware directly, but like I want to have rewind always on and always available to me. And I have to, every time I load a game, I have to go into RetroArch, turn it on. And the next time when I leave the game, it's going to reset and I have to go do it again. Kind of bullshit. So, but other than that, really a lovely device. I appreciate the recommendation. I don't think at the moment I'm tempted to get any more. But I mean, every time I see that GBA one, it's at least very cool that it exists.
Yeah.
But you know, I got the SP was my GBA anyway. But I gotta tell you, EJ, I play all three of these with some regularity.
Wow.
I would say Odin 2 for the specialized systems, the higher end systems, and for like as more of a console experience. Like I play it on the TV actually a lot. I would say the Genesis in bed when I'm trying to get Gloria down, or right before I fall asleep, and the SP when I'm out and about.
So in the end, yes, I do recommend this device if you do think it's going to be a good match for what you want to play. And another quick story time here is that about a month before the PSP first came out, I actually had a stroke.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.